Well, hello there. Welcome to the channel. My name is Jay. You can find me under social media at Casino Dealer Jay. And today, let John just introduce yourself. You're the co-host.
Hey everybody, it's John, an old ass crap stealer. I should say that, but I am. To be honest, I really like doing these things because it's just so much fun. And I talked to Jay previously, and it kind of like triggers every time we have a conversation, we chat, we talk about stories. It kind of triggers another story. I'm like, oh my god, I forgot about that. That was so funny. And I remembered one about Mikey that I want to talk about, hopefully today.
Oh, right. I wasn't prepared for this, but okay, I don't know which story this could be. But
Mark, it's okay. It was just funny. It was just, it's nothing embarrassing. It was just funny.
I'm used to doing stuff embarrassing, so trust me, it wouldn't go by me here. It's okay.
Well, our special guest, as you see, is Mike Stark. Mike, welcome to the channel. Everybody that's on, hey, welcome. Ooh, we're getting some people already. That's pretty cool. If you got your P number, sign in on the comments and say hello. We'll probably be giving some stuff away today, so stay tuned. But first off, a couple announcements. Oh, who's this? Hey.
Hey.
Who is that? We need to know. If you are going to put your comments in, make sure you put a tag name there when you're on the live stream. So it'll say, hey, can you please add a name? There's just a little tab on the bottom. And then we can get your name there for instead of it saying Facebook user. But it's cool. We can see it on the live, but we're going to have to log in. From StreamYard, we can't really see it. And that's why you see this Facebook user. Some sort of privacy thing. So, okay. So, how are you guys doing? Doing all right?
Oh, good.
Okay, cool. Couple announcements. First off, we are streaming over 3 platforms. Hey, first off, welcome to the Talking Craps show. This is our 5th episode, and we try to rotate the hosts for the most part. But for the most part, you'll see a couple of us consistently at a time. So, we are streaming for the Casino Industry Canada Facebook group. So welcome everybody from there. And the Casino Dealer J Facebook page. So Facebook, not Facebook page, the YouTube channel. So hey everybody from there. Thank you for subscribing. All right. Just a couple announcements. The Casino Industry group, we just broke 1,300 people in less than a week. So cheers to that. Make sure you invite.
Crazy.
Yeah, crazy, right, guys? Make sure you guys just invite everybody. It's not just gaming. It's not just slots. Make sure you invite anybody that's worked in the casino industry, and yeah, just give them that invite. It is a private group, so it is only invite. We can't get anybody just coming from the outside and trying to jump in. All right, perfect. As I said before, we are giving away some cards. So at some point. Oh, look who it is.
Jolene!
Oh, Jolene.
Jolene, I used to love being on Craps with you. I just want to say that. It was always so much fun. Yeah, it was always great fun. I love dealing Craps with you, just so you know.
She's one of the most entertaining people on the face of the planet. I swear to God, seriously.
Can I just say a quick thing? This quick thing about Jolene. So anyway, I'd left the business, like the casinos. I kind of lost touch with a lot of people, and this one time I phoned up this one place, and I think I was trying to find a blackjack table to do like a funny money casino, and I was like, hello, can I speak to blah blah blah, and I'm trying to get a blackjack table, and the person on the other end of the phone went, is that John Holland? And it was Jolene. I was like, oh my god, it was so random and it was so fun. I was like, oh my god, I was like, oh, how did she recognize me? But anyway, it was so cool. Just out of the blue, is that John Holland? And I was like, yeah, who is this? And she's like, it's Jolene. I was like, oh my god, this is awesome.
That is hilarious. Okay, well, yeah, nice to see you, Jolene. So glad that you had some time tonight to join the live stream. So we will be talking about a few topics today, and so why don't we start off we do have quite a few items. I don't know if we're going to cover them all today, but it's nice to kind of go through shop and talk about craps and talk about the casino industry. If you guys have any questions, make sure you put them in the comments and we will address them. So, all right, guys. So the first question, I know I gave you like 6 when we were prepping. Let's start with this one, since it's fairly relevant. If you guys are tuning into this and it's not 2020, don't search, don't Google that year because it sucks. It's yeah. Let's make this a long-standing live stream video right now. But yeah, 2020 was pretty terrible. The casinos at this point, this is September, the start of September. People are going back to school. The slot machines are open here in Alberta, and that's it. There isn't a lot of activity going on through the whole country. And my question for the two of you is, what can the casinos do to recover from 2020?
Mikey, you go first.
Oh, you want me to go first? Thanks, John. You know what? It is way too late in the year to recover, but to get started, I mean, just full safety precautions. I mean, plexiglass everywhere. We've seen some of the things done. I think somebody posted in the group from Montreal the plexiglass around the roulette table, and that looked pretty cool. But I mean, you got to make sure patrons are safe and the staff as well, right? You want to make sure they're well protected and they're thought of first. Their safety is thought of first, and then maybe you can start to recoup a little bit, get a little bit of patrons back until we get a vaccine or something else.
Yeah, John, what are your thoughts on this?
I remember like a long time ago, someone said to me, he said, the person who created gambling was like super smart, but the person who invented chips was a genius. And that's, like when you gamble, like when you like chips, poker, whatever, like all of us play with them, and I don't know, there's something about the chips that you just can't keep your hands off them. And I find right now, because I mean, we all knew they were just disgusting, and we kind of purposely kind of like blanked out from our, subconscious or whatever. Our mind was like, I don't want to know what's on those chips because I'm sure they're nasty. Every break, I'm going to wash my hands. But the challenge now with this whole COVID is we know that there could be something just terrible on these chips, right? So if you take those chips out of it, you've taken a really big chunk of what gambling is away from gambling, right? So that's what I find was really strange. I know that I saw, like to Mike's point, I saw somebody post on Facebook. It may have been Montreal. It actually may have been someone, I might have posted one from back in Wales, where they were saying like roulette, the players didn't touch the chips. Everything was like a call bet. Like we put so much on, and the dealer would actually put all the chips on, and then they would spin the ball. They would never touch actually, their color, right? Which I don't know. I find that would be, I don't know. I think it would be, to me, it'd be a weird way to gamble, right? Because if you don't touch the chips, but we all know chips are disgusting. But I don't know. I think everything evolves, but I don't know, the tactile experience of playing with chips. If that's taken out of casinos, you've lost so much of the experience. So obviously, we want everybody to be safe, but I think it's going to be a challenge moving forward, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I agree. Chips are a big thing, and I'm just wondering how long it takes for casinos to go chipless. You have a card and a tap on your square or something like that. Maybe they can give the old school guys a fidget spinner in the meantime when they I just don't see it being long before we go chipless, and it will take a lot away from the experience.
Like, I think, Jay, you posted that video of like the digital craps table, and it was all lights and flashing, and it was like, oh my God, that was like, you've literally taken all the skill and experience and like everything out of that game. But that would be like a digital experience, right? You'd be like, oh, okay, and there's somebody, like they wouldn't even need a stick. There's no die. I mean, I don't know. It just, everything evolves, I guess, right? But I don't know. It's to take the kind of like interaction between chips and you know, peg out tiles, or you know, the touching cards, and I don't know. I don't know. Maybe this is like a turning point in casinos, right?
Yeah, no, that's true. I actually have a friend in California, and he just got called back to work. So Chris, hey, shout out to you. It's so cool that that you're back in there, and he is dealing. Yeah, he's dealing with that. He said he's gonna kind of send some pictures over. So it was a little different in Cali though, just because like the dice aren't really legal, so they were using cards. I think they were using the cards to actually determine like the dice rolls and whatnot. So
I really hope they're like really big cards. Like, oh, who that? I don't know, like, I would love to do that. Oh my god, I would. That would be such a great shuffle. You know, like, remember there used to be that game show years ago. I don't know if it was over here. Would it be like higher or lower of a card? And these cards were like massive, and he put them on the higher or lower, and you're like everyone's shouting, but the cards were enormous. I mean, literally like 2 feet, 3 feet high. Imagine doing that. I would love that. I would so be like, come on, shuffle it.
that is so funny. That's
I would
yeah.
love to see something like that.
No, me too. So Jade says we got reinstated. So the River Cree got reinstated, but no idea what's gonna happen. Yeah, I did see that. I heard about the post that you guys did get reinstated. So some people are going back to work for training, I believe. So that's cool. If that's true, then wow, congratulations. It's good. That's good to hear. So. Chantal. Wow, good to see some familiar faces. I miss Argyle.
Hi, Chantal. How are you?
Yeah, so good to see you. All right, guys. So the next question here. This is my question. This is the one that I wanted to bring up. It's a craps question, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. So the question is, should the combat still be a self-service bet? Now, my problem with this was getting into an argument with a craps purist. Really, and I really respect this person. I'm not gonna say who it is, but we had a really good discussion about when you have your combats on, you know, in the middle of the roll. If there's like an 11, so if a yo gets rolled, do you hand out half of the bet? What does the book say on that? And well, it's a self-service bet, so you have to leave that bet there. If it's a 7 out, you just pay the bets out on the come. You leave the bets there. The players pick them up. So, you know, like I've always gone down this path because when we were taught initially, we're supposed to hand out half, and we were supposed to hand out all of it on the 7 out. And I think I passed that down. Then we got into some arguments because not every casino did it that way. They'd leave it. They said it was faster. There's so many ways of like looking at this. But I want to hear your thoughts first, and then I'll just chime in right at the end there. So who wants to go first?
John, this one's your first.
Okay. Well, for me, I always liked a really quick game. If I was on stick or if I was dealing, I was like, come on, this game's supposed to be fast. It's supposed to be exciting. And the problem with having self-service bets, you know, like in the camp, is players are generally slow. They're drunk. You know what I mean? Like they're not as fast as you are. They can't anticipate things as quickly. And so you're going to get hands everywhere. So I was always like, okay, I know, what are you playing? I know how you play. Okay, right, I'm just going to give it off. Because realistically, when 11 comes in, you've only got, well, 1, 2, 3 bets to have any action, right? As a base dealer, right? So you go, okay, you're going to pay the field, you pay the come, and then you're going to take any don't action, whatever, right? So you're not exactly busy, right? So even if there was a lot of them, okay, pay them and take them off. And then it for me anyway, it's still kind of like a servicey thing. Okay, well, maybe that guy presses it by a unit, or he does this weird wonky thing. I don't know, but I mean, so I would do it. I still think it's a self-service bet. Not so. I think it should be a bet that we service. It shouldn't, even though we call it a self-service. Yeah, you can call it that, whatever. But I think as a dealer, we should do this. purely because it speeds up the game, right? And you're not exactly busy on an 11 when the point's established anyway, right? That's my point anyway.
Mike, what are your thoughts on that?
You know, for sure. And to John's thing, it's not just about the but the combats especially. You know, it would speed up the game if it wasn't self-service. I think. I don't know why people think that it would speed up the game to be a self-service bet, because you do get so many people that are not knowing what they're doing, not paying attention, not thinking, oh, do I press whatever I do, right? You know, as a dealer, you know what the player wants almost before they want it, especially when you know your crew, you know your table, you know your games. You can speed up the game more than the players can. So yeah, I don't think it should be just a self-service bet. It's more than that, and it's up to us to speed up the game.
Yeah, you know what? I agree with the both of you. I think that when you say like what a self-service bet is, I can understand like going to the tee, but then if we always said that, then my question would be like, why would we be doing like the cash transactions in the com? Why does everything have to go through the com when you're allowing players to technically use that as a self-service bet, as a self-service area? Like, would we be doing that in the field? Does it make the difference? You know? So for me, like, I always had that mentality about, I want to deal a fast game. If I'm a box, I want a fast game, and I want players to just, I want them to be taken care of. But sometimes you have to get to the point where it's like, if this guy is like drunk and he's going to put his arms in and he's not paying attention, like, you're not going to have like A+ players all the time. You're going to have to deal with people like that. It's best to just get all of that stuff out of there so that you don't have to run into that situation where he gets hit by the dice and then we get into a fight. So,
to your point, I think what we've all gained from experience of being on game is, okay, we've seen a situation where it just gets really bad really quickly. So we're like, okay, we do these certain things to try to like alleviate, like you said, to that point, like, is a drunk guy and he's like, oh, and he gets hit. Can you imagine? Is it like a massive roll and all of a sudden this drunk guy is going in to try and grab his bet and they get hit and it's 7 out, table explodes and it's all, it ends up bad just because the dealer's like, I don't want to give you your $5. You know what I mean? I just want to hand it off because, I don't know. Sometimes we're doing a lot of the things to try and alleviate problems that we may have. Like, because if something happens like that, the game's going to grind to a halt. And, there's so many arguments. And you're like, well, we could have just relieved some of that potential problems in the future by doing little tasks right now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I do.
And we've all seen it. We've all seen the table go crazy. And we're like, oh, maybe we should, a training mistakes, right? And we're like, and then afterwards you're like, okay, next time, how about do it this way? Because see all this chaos you've just caused? Well, it could have been, you could have sorted this out beforehand, right?
Yep, exactly. Wow, we have 11 viewers. If we get to 20, I'm gonna give away an Amazon gift card. Woo! $25 gift card. Even if you're in the States, I'll even convert it. Okay. This isn't it. This is actually
conversion gift card. Oh, that's awesome.
This is a birthday one that my son got, but I'm not giving this one away.
Are you giving your son's birthday gift away?
Yeah.
He's
preliminary sponsor. Yeah, he's a first sponsor. He doesn't know it. He's 5. He'll forget.
This year apparently he thinks Christmas is cancelled.
Everyone,
is that the one we got? Just out of curiosity, I'm just. That's the one we got from them.
No, this is from the in-laws. So.
Okay.
If you're watching, sorry, guys, make sure you comment in your comment section there. I know. Again, we're streaming out to just my Facebook page. So hello, everybody. Half of you are family. That's cool. The Casino Industry Canada page. Welcome. It's nice to see you guys. We're at 1,400 members. And the Casino Dealer J channel. Hello, internationals. Thank you for subscribing. We just broke 100, so I'm pretty stoked about that. All right. Hopefully I'm not yelling. I remember I get all excited and I'm yelling. I was just talking with John about that. I'm like, yeah. Then the next morning, like, Minzu would just come talk to me and be like, man, why are you yelling? Why are you so excited about craps? Are you so excited about the casino? Stop yelling. Yeah. Okay, so next debate question. Oh, this was yours, John. However, I kind of generalized it. Should games have side bets? Example, craps. And then you can kind of elaborate on that.
Okay, so this was the somebody commented on a previous video about like the proposition bets that come out with new ones, and she'd mentioned that they've got this new bet, and it was like all the small numbers and tall numbers are all numbers, and it's kind of like really popular, whatever she was from in the US. And I was like, oh, that's a cool bet. I mean, I think for me anyway, I think anything that you can do that would be like add excitement to craps, why wouldn't you do it? I mean, it's like all these proposition bets, like the fire bets and these different kind of bets. All right, yeah, you're doing it on a stick, and it's more stuff that you're trying to sell and trying to talk about and get people excited about. I think anything that you can do to make an, you're like, oh my God, can you imagine like $7 off and on all the time? It's like, you know what I mean? But if you're like, oh my God, come on, everyone's, you get people that then would just like that, the tall bets or all these, they're not even trying to cheer for the winning points. They'd be cheering for a different number because they're going to get different things. I just think it's anything that you can just stimulate more excitement on the game is a good thing for me anyway. I would love to be on the stick for some of those stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mike, how do you feel?
Yeah, you know what? I do like side bets. I think they're an interesting way to add some livelihood to any game. Really, I know you run the risk of it being overblown and taken out of it just going to be so much that you have no idea what's going on, and it's the point of the digital craps game that you posted that was just an epileptic seizure just waiting to happen. But I like it. I do like the side bets. They're entertaining, and you got a couple bucks. It works for the casino. It's good for the players. And they're entertained. It adds some excitement that was previously not there. I know some purists would say nope, not a chance, and that's fine. But other players can play it, and I think that's okay.
The challenge I find with craps is, and we've all experienced this because we've all learned how to deal it and how to play it. Is it's a challenging game to learn and to understand, right? So if you can come and say, okay, look, this is a simple bet, simple bet for simple people. Just have these. I'm not trying to say these people are simple, but I mean, it's a simple bet and it's a way to get excited about playing this game, because the challenge with craps is, it's the purists are like, okay, we're going to bet, and the most boring way to ever play and ever deal is, oh, I've got my one combat, my odds, and I got two combats, and I stay, and oh my God, a table full of those. It's so dull and boring. Like, everybody loses interest in it, right? So I think if you can bring into something that's more exciting and easy to understand, yeah, it's a great game. It's like a triple win, right? I mean, like a simple, if people want to play it like it's roulette, let them play it like roulette, right? I mean, they just want to bet for numbers. They don't care about odds and stuff like that. They just want some fun. The casino will make a bit more money, or maybe they'll keep tables. I mean, I've worked in places where a table blew out, and then the next day, they took the table out. It was gone. It was like, yep, that's it. Not for us. We tried this thing, doesn't work. We lost too much money. So if we want these craps to be a table that's going to have some longevity in the new era, it should be evolving and changing and not just stuck in the past, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
Well, okay. So then, on that note, would you? I remember we talked about this as well. You're trying to drum up interest. You're trying to bring in a lot of action. You also talked about the table limits. Now, was that something that you wanted to talk about, where we would lower them or make them more appealing to somebody?
I think, especially like the economic environment like we are today, right? Um, we've all got, okay, all of us work, we've all got X amount of money, some have, and now people have less money, so you have less disposable income, right? So if you go out and you go, okay, well, I've got $100, I don't know, just say you have $100. Are you going to come to a craps table when literally it's $26, $27 to bet all the numbers, line bet, all of a sudden it's $40, and really, I'm like, oh my God, it's done. And I'm like, oh my God, it's half my gambling money and it's all done. But people like to play it, right? So why couldn't we, all right, for a shit, maybe there's like happy hour and you just drop the minimum, make it $15 across. I worked in a place where we had $15 across, right? So they went 3, 4, 5. That's what they got paid. Even money on a 6, $4 on a 6 and 8 even money. 5 and 9 was like $4, 4 and 10, $5, right? Then they went, okay, we'll price it up to 5. You know what I mean? You're dropping it down a little bit, make it a little bit more affordable. Because ultimately, the casino's going to get their money. Maybe try and make it the minimum less, so they can enjoy the experience for longer. I think so too. That's what I think anyway.
How do you guys? So how do you guys feel about this? Should craps be reopened with the rest of the tables? Because if you're talking about like how much it's going to cost, you're bringing up that lowering the limits, but for myself as an operator, do I really want to do that? Why wouldn't I just have like blackjack tables or fill it up with slots? So my question for you is, if there's the distancing and we have rules and everything, and the maximum you can have on a side is 3 players, is it actually feasible to actually have craps reopen at this point?
No, I don't think so at all.
This might be.
Sorry. Go ahead, John.
No, you go ahead. You finish. Sorry.
Okay, no, I don't think so. Just with so much hand touching, and I get you're touching chips still and everything, but craps and poker are 2 games that I would not be looking at returning right away, along with Baigao, along with tiles. There's too much hands all over everything. No matter how much you sanitize and everything, there's just too much.
Do you know what is going to happen? What this is now? All of a sudden, this is the return of Klondike craps. Those 2 dials.
You might be right.
Yeah, I want them to bring back a big foam finger, but there's no dice. Come on, this guy already. Mikey won $40. Hey, Mikey, $40.
Oh, we gotta bring X back to spin the wheel. It's you know what? You might be right. In the beginning, I'm just saying. In the beginning of opening the casinos, I wouldn't bring back those games: poker, craps, Pai Gow. Those games. There's too much interaction with everything else, right?
Okay, but now that you say that, then how can we bring in like Ultimate Texas Hold'em? How can we bring in handheld baccarat? Like, there's a whole ton of games other than blackjack where players are interacting and touching cards. So,
right, you're right, and I think with Ultimate Texas Hold'em, I'm not really too familiar with the game. It's pretty simple. I don't think I've ever dealt it. I might have played it a couple times when I was really drunk, but I think that can be dealt without the players touching the cards. I mean, really, you need a dealer can hold them up. Like, do people really need to see what's going on? I don't see any game security there. But anyways, I don't know enough about that to really talk about it. As far as handheld baccarat, I can't believe there wasn't more of a push from casino operators to get rid of it completely. This was the perfect opportunity. It's not good for casinos. It slows down the game. There's security issues. It's dirty. It's disgusting. We know the players who play it, right? Like, I mean, I can't believe there wasn't more of a push to get rid of handheld baccarat. from the beginning. To me, as a casino operator, I own a casino right now. I'd be pushing for that nonstop.
Do you think? I just I remember when I went into one of the few times I've been into what used to be Starlight Casino, where they had like that weird pit at the front, and they have like a roulette dealer and a blackjack dealer, whatever, at the front, and they have all those terminals. Do you think this is now the evolution where you're betting, but there's no card, but you kind of like the guys, because you still need, I think, all these games, or perhaps especially, there needs the continued interaction between you and the player, and like the guy on stake and revenue up and all that kind of stuff. Do you think that's where it's going to go to, where you're at a terminal playing, and somebody don't? It'd be like, what was that game Frustration we used to have that thing where you push the dice, oh, it's a 6, or even that. Oh, I used to work on ships, and they had a horse racing game, and it was like that big kind of like egg timer shape, and they would turn it, and there was 3 dice, and they would bet on it. It was, I loved that. It was so much fun. But I mean, literally, you could have like hundreds of people, and a guy in the mic goes, "Oh, come on, 7 to winner!" You know what I mean? It'd be like satellite bingo, all across Canada.
Well, yeah, I don't know where the casino industry is going right now, but like, I mean, I see it. I see it progressing after this, especially to a little more digital platform. I mean, we already got stadium gaming, I believe, in Century, and is it Starlight?
Yes. Well, they had the party pit, right? With they had like all the different games, and everyone was like, the one guy was on the mic, and there was a DJ. I mean, it's a little bit entertaining, and it's something new for maybe the new generation, everything like that. I know it takes away a lot from us, but it just seemed interesting, and I don't know how digital we're going to get. I know I would miss a lot of the feel of an actual dealer, and playing against somebody, and at least somebody who's entertaining. And I don't know, I haven't gone a lot to casinos to gamble or anything, but the times I have, it's just it's kind of the dealers are there. They're a little stoic, maybe statuesque, I guess. They smile, they nod, but there's none of that carnival kind of atmosphere that gets you, that draws the table's attention, right? I haven't seen that in a while, so I don't know if make it a little more digital and doing stuff with DJs or music, fireworks. I don't know, whatever you do with strobe lights, whatever, to attract more people. If that works, then maybe that's the way we're going. Mm-hmm.
But to Mike's point, like now when I walk into casinos, some of the dealers are like, "Oh my God, this must have been what it was like in Eastern Germany before the wall fell." Do you know what I mean? It was like, whoa. They're not even getting numbers. They just, oh my God, this was like Eastern Europe. It was like, oh my God, it was like Stalag Blackjack. Oh, no one talks. Don't tell me your number. Oh my God, I deal 8 hours. I get my gruel, and I'm off then. Oh my God, it's a terrible. I mean, literally, that's why I stopped going to casinos. Like, oh my God. Not only are they not talking, half of them are not even telling you what you have, like blackjack, for instance. They're not even telling you what you have. It's like, I'm like, what?
Oh, yeah.
You're supposed to be engaged in entertaining. What are you doing? It's literally, it's like,
no, it's the worst. You get the stone face, and they deal the cards. It's robotic, and it's something like it's a statue from Easter Island. Like, you just, what's going on here? This isn't a casino anymore.
I can't believe it's. Is it some part of like community service where you're like, okay, you do this, and then eventually you get paroled, and you can actually go into this. It's one step away from being in prison. It's just like, oh my God, what are we doing? Literally, has the bar dropped that low where they're like, okay, all we need is your arm to move and roughly to shuffle. That's all we need for a dealer. Do that, and then do that. Yeah, all right. Oh, okay. Here's the question. Okay. Here's the question. I just thought of this. So, with the way things are going right now, do you think? Because we've all done table tests. We went on ships, we deal, and you're like, hey, whatever. That will change. Or could it change? To okay, I need to do a virtual because everything's. I mean, like Zoom and this, and it's all wonderful. Could be possibly to interview somebody in a virtual experience.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, for sure. I think that what I really love about just being on the channel and creating, just creating content is just the fact that I can set up some sort of recording. It's just a matter of, is everyone able to access like the equipment where they're from? Like, are they able to access that equipment? Does the casino offer an outlet for them? It's like, hey, if you're gonna do this, come to this casino. We'll let you use this table. You can record it. The whole Zoom thing is really cool. Like, this is something it's because of what's been happening, it's something that's been a lot more popular. So when you have people that are doing, like, if you wanted to do a table test, then definitely I would, like, if I was still like a manager, I'd be like, yeah, like you can't come here physically. Let's see what you can do here. And like everybody that's worked in the casino industry, like when you see a good dealer, it's like, yeah, that guy's good. Yeah, that girl's got hands. Like, like this person's fast, this person's good. And you can tell when there's someone that isn't like prepared or ready, right? So I think, oh my God, and I hate saying this because I was always like, well, I care about like the art of the game. I care about the dealing. I care about the mathematics. I think that's something that's really important. But yeah, in a time like this, I mean, like customer service is, always will be. It'll be a major part of all of this. So it's a way for me to like communicate with you and say, hey, how are you doing? Where are you from? And then you can get a really good sense if this person is like truthful or if they're not. So
Hashtag hand double John. It'd be like, when you watch the movie where the guy's like, oh yes, I'm a casino dealer, and then it cuts away, and then you see someone else deal the hand. I'm like, okay, I'm a hand double. Not for blackjack, because I was terrible at blackjack.
Stunt dealer.
remember Friends when he was like, I'm a hand model. We'd be like, okay, I can't deal anymore, just blank out this bit, just show my hand, and I'll be dealing.
Oh my goodness.
You know what? Two things to that point, and I know you guys talked about it in an earlier interview about dealing dice and about hands going and everything like that. I don't know about you guys, but I'm worried about my back. I don't know if I could spend 40 minutes on base without a chiropractor behind me. Honestly, like, I mean, it's one of those things, right? But as far as Zoom meetings and everything like that, I think you could, maybe. I think there's, especially now, what we've seen in the past maybe 5 to 10 years with the industry, I think it needs some personality.
To Jay's point, like, realistically, you wouldn't even need a casino. You could do like a deal, like you could do this, have a table in, say, like Jay's basement. We're coming over. Tell your son he just bought a table. Forget his Christmas present. Santa brought him a blackjack table. So you could come over there and literally, like the way technology is right now, you could do a blackjack table test for any casino in the world. You could just go there, and if you have the right equipment, and you could deal away and go, oh, this is how I interact, and you could have Zoom. And I'm like, oh my God, how awesome would that be? Eh? I mean, like, rather than travel somewhere 10 hours in a BMW with mud driving. You could have just dealt, right? You'd be like, okay, Mike's get, and it'd be weird. You might not even be dressed. You could have like pajamas on, your fluffy slippers. You're walking up. Okay, this is how I do. This is how I go.
You could. It's amazing how far it's come, and I think you could. And I see it happening.
Mm-hmm.
To that point, right? Wouldn't that be this? I think this is one of the reasons I love coming on these calls, right? Because you guys are really smart, and it just kind of triggers ideas. Like you literally could have a digital resume. Do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, you read this stuff and it's just, okay, I dealt craps for 5 years, but I have hands of stone and I'm terrible and I have the personality of an undertaker. You know what I mean? Like, so be like, but on your resume, you're like, oh, this guy looks wonderful. But you have a digital resume and you go, okay, look, here's my paper, here's my resume, and here's me actually dealing. What do you think? You know what I mean? Like, that could be the new version of how people, apply for applications, right? Apply for jobs. I mean, like, Jay, both of you are managers, right? I mean, how cool would it if you were like, okay, before I even see a guy, I'm like, oh my God, this is how we deal. Look how he deals blackjack, or look how he deals cramps. Or, you know what I mean? Like, that'd be kind of a cool thing to do, right?
Okay, so to your point now, I remember, well, I think I saw it. I think you were talking about like school and whatnot, and shouldn't they actually have like instruction online? Why wouldn't you have instruction from someone like in Europe? If you have like someone that's like just a genius, and we're talking about like some like mathematics, why wouldn't I be able to, from Canada, go to like Europe and do that? Why wouldn't we do that for casinos as well? So if I'm like in training, for example, why wouldn't I want to get trained from somebody in like Australia if the best person was there, right? Like,
Exactly.
weird. It's weird with that. Like, so if you can do that with like table tests, why wouldn't we try to do that with training as well? So,
I mean, I'm sure you could do it, but I mean, it would be hard to see, okay, how you're doing your hands and, that kind of like the chip stuff. That would be, I would thought, could be difficult to kind of like view. But to your point though, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, literally now the capability to see somebody from all around the world and the time scale, I mean, like, lots of other businesses are doing it and industries are doing it. Sooner or later, somebody in the casino is going to be like, why don't I hire this? There's an agency or there's this business in, I don't know, Germany who are amazing dealers and they bring, there's like a factory. Why won't I hire them to do all my training?
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. Yep.
Can I tell my story before I forget?
Okay.
I literally did forget. Okay, do you remember when this was back in the Palace when we had that training room and it was like the theater across the kind of like the across the corridor. Remember that when we
we were undergoing renovations. Yeah,
and we had the corridor. I remember. It was on the day shift. Mikey came in and he was in poker, and the bad beat had already gone. So there was no game. It was just dead. They don't, all the poker players had migrated and gone somewhere else to wherever the bad beat was. So whoever was the houseman at the time said, you know what? Don't just go to the staff room, and we'll call you when there's a game. Mikey had been out partying all night, so came in and he fell asleep on a sofa. Nobody came in to play, so he was never called. I remember he got woken up. I had first break for whatever reason. I had first break, came in, it was like past his shift. He'd slept his entire shift. Nobody woke him up. And then after the shift, someone was like, hey, Mike, didn't you finish at like 7 or whatever it was? And he was like, what? Mike got so mad that nobody woke him up just so he could go home, even though he slept through the entire shift and got paid for it. But he was so mad. It was so funny, and he was so mad. I can't believe I slept. Nobody woke me up. I could have gone home like an hour ago. And everyone was like,
you know what?
Slept through the entire shift.
Oh my God! Oh, yeah, I remember that. That did happen.
I know.
I did. I was bad. Nobody woke me up. So the thing is, right? Like, I mean, I slept. I don't know what I did. I slept for a few hours for sure. 100%. I was hungover, but nobody woke me up, and that to me is disheartening. But I had a note. Saying that, hey, we're down at Elfin Castle. Come down when you wake up. So it was 8, quarter after 8, something like that. I had been off for like an hour and a half or something, and I got mad and I went down and drank at Elephant Castle.
Oh, it was so funny. I remember it. Oh my gosh.
Hey, I tell you what, that was the easiest shift of my life.
Oh my God, yeah, for sure.
Oh God.
I just wanted to throw that in because I remember when I was talking to Jay, I was like, Jay, I just remembered a funny story. And he's like, not embarrassing. It was just funny.
No, that's good. No, trust me. Wait till the embarrassing stories come out. There's a few. There's a few.
Yeah. I'll ease up on you, Mike. It's like because it's like
Thanks.
yeah, you're right, Mike. There are some pretty embarrassing stories about you, but we'll just keep one a week here since John gave a good one there.
So,
Yeah.
just a question. Is it just us three on this call, or is anybody else watching?
It's fluctuating, so it got really close to 20, and I was about to go like, okay, guys, let's do this. But then it kind of went down. So it's been going up and down. Hey, to all you people that are watching right now, check in on the comments. Just put your P number in and say hello, or just say where you're from. If you're subscribed to the Casino Dealer J channel, just say where you're from. Hello, nice seeing you. Thank you for subscribing. So, I haven't had too many comments, but Sick Bow Crap Side Bet. Yeah, that's from before, right? I don't know who this is because I'm not able to kind of log in. But yeah.
I think that was me, actually.
Oh yeah, you put that in.
Yeah, I think that was me. Yeah. This is from before.
But it's, you know what, you talked about like at it was the Starlight, right? The Starlight had the whole like party area with the DJ and whatnot, and they did have the craps table. That was the electronic one with like the bubble, and then it would be 3 dice, and you could switch between craps and sick bow. I mean, it's fairly ingenious, right? Where you have like 3 dice, and like 2 of them are white, and I think 1 was black. So then you kind of knew what you were looking at, and you can kind of, I think that was pretty cool. Like I didn't mind that. So to have like a craps, like a sick bow side bet, well, you would need 3 dice, but I'd probably put that on Paigao tiles if I were to have that as a side bet, actually. So, because you roll the shaker, there's your sick bow, right? However, like our dice aren't really, they're not very good, and I know that they're not really legal, and it's not really for that. You know who had the nice dice? BC. BC, when I brought Paigao tiles over there, it was like this cup, and you couldn't even get to the dice. Like it was covered, and then it had a cover for the cover. So
A cover on the cover.
yeah, it was like it's not plexi. I don't know what it was, but it was just like this. It's like sorry, where you have the little bubble thing.
Yeah.
But it was a cylinder, and then you had like the actual, like the normal cover, and it was like metal on top of it. So it was like heavy ass too. You're rolling it. I'm like, oh man, carpal tunnel trying to shake this dice cup. So yeah, I mean, if they did something like that, that'd be cool.
Okay.
Honestly,
Sorry. Mikey,
sorry.
No, Mikey, go.
Okay. I'm saying that that sick bow into a Paigao dice bet, the side bet, is ingenious. I don't know how anybody's not thought of that, and we should patent that pretty quick here, because that's awesome. That is awesome. That's a moneymaker.
Yeah, no, because you know how popular sick bow was in our casino.
You got a bunch of old guys sitting at the Paigao table anyways. They're gonna put a couple bucks on big, small, and 777. Like it's triple three. Sorry, it's gonna happen, right? Like it's gonna happen.
Oh my god! Do you know how big that? Yeah, go ahead, John.
I never dealt sick bow. Most of those those prop games, I never dealt them. I was like, but they made me watch them. They were like, okay, John, Craps is dead. Go and stand over there. I was like, I don't know the games. They're like, oh, okay, go stand over there. I'm like, all right. And I go and just shoot the shit with players. They're like, ooh, that looks good. What is it? Okay, I have a question. It's a craps question because I suppose it's talking craps. Okay, so I dealt in a few casinos, like the dice ball, right? So do you have the dice ball, your personal preference or whatever, the dice ball, okay, I dealt where it was up. So, like the dice ball, if you think of it as here, so it was up and the dice was sat there and it was perspex and you could see through it, but it was up so you could see the dice. Or the same place different place had the the same kind of ball, but it was flipped over against it, so you could still see the dice, but it was plush, so the dice couldn't actually land in it. They could land on the top of the ball, so it was still like an a live roll. But I also worked in a lot of places that had a wooden ball that did the same thing, either up or down. What are your thoughts?
Go ahead, Mike. You go first.
Wow, that one was unexpected. You know what? I'd say I like the clear bowl upside down. I think that would be good. I know in Palace we had the middle-aged wooden bowl that was carved out of a 300-year-old tree. But I like it being down. I like that the dice don't get into the dice that are in the side. And maybe a clear bowl. Yeah, that would be probably the best for me, I think. Keep it simple.
For me, whenever we talk about the dice bowl, I really like the clear bowl, and I think the reason why we dealt with a wooden bowl is because that's all we could really afford at the time. You see the sticks and other things that we've broken over the years. That's all you get, right? So the reason why I like the clear bowl and I like it flush is definitely to prevent that whole argument about the die going in and the guy goes same dice and then the dealer's too bad, and then they dump it and then it's all mixed up and then people get pissed off, and it's just do you really want to go through that on a $5 craps table and get into this argument? No, I don't. I just want to steal the game and just have it keep going, right? Me, see, it's not I want to avoid confrontation or anything, but yeah, it's just I just want the game to run. I hate it when you run into that situation where this drunk guy comes out, his arms out, and the dice hit him, and then people freak out because it's a 7, right? And then it's we'll blame that guy, right? And it's not, for me, I was just can we just avoid that situation altogether? You want your people to be happy. This game is it's so hard to keep this game here in the city because there's all we're having staffing issues with it. There's too many tables in the area. Nobody really knows when these tables are open because everyone has different schedules and stuff. And it's it's really tough to kind of bring in a market here because it's a fast game too, right? And it's intimidating. So I think when you get to that point and people are kind of engaged, you don't want to have a new player come in and get embarrassed, right? Or some drunk people too, and it's just trying to balance that all out.
I agree with all of you guys. I mean, we mentioned earlier about experience. Excuse me. Experience gives you the knowledge to reduce the chaos that you caused from previous mess ups. So for me, I always liked it when the ball was down because then you're not going to call no roll in the ball, and the dice go in and then knocks one out and they're that was a 7 out. What or that was a winner. You know what I mean? There's so many chaotic things can happen, right? So I liked it when the ball was down. I trained. This is not. I worked in a crazy place when I trained, man. I trained and we destroyed them. So we had the wooden ball like the Palace, right? We had a wooden ball and we put it down. Same as but we passed out the dice and we'd align them. So you pass them out, and then what we would do. So I've got a mouse here. We would kind of lift up the ball. And when we get the dice, we'd line them up and we go, whack! And we would whack them back so hard and then catch them in the ball. And it would just make a really loud noise. And they'd be that was kind of cool. The intention was to break the ball, just to try and take the back off the ball. And oh my God, you think every dealer just just whack. It was just all of a sudden you're oh my God, you can see the nails are coming out. I'd be this ain't going to last tonight. But anyway, to be honest, it did sound really cool. Because a lot of stuff we did, and there was no rhyme or reason why you did it. That was kind of cool. It was kind of a trick, and you pass the dice, you line them up, and you go, and then you move and you're out again, right? It was just kind of a cool way to kind of collect the dice. It was really fast, and then you can move. But you couldn't really do it when the ball was up, right? So I always liked it when the ball was down, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you know what? And a couple side topics on that one. And I know we're talking about the old wooden bowl and everything, but I think Palace after maybe the first year of dice being in the casinos, maybe 12, maybe 18 months or so. We all had red green sticks. Every stick we had duct tape on it. I think there was not one that didn't. And I mean it was trying to break them, see how far they could bend and everything, and we had fun with that. But I was thinking about something got me thinking about dice calls, and actually, what's your favorite dice call, and what's the best dice call you ever heard? And I never replied to one of those comments because I always thought that it was always a situational thing that happened, and it was always the crew that was on. You were making fun of a crew member, you were making fun of a player, it's something in current events and everything that was going on. Those were the best calls that I've ever heard on dice. Just one of those ones where you're kind of like going down and you're like, did he just really he said that? Okay, that's funny, right? Those are the ones to me that will always be the best.
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree with Mike. And I was on Heather's kind of like video the other day, and I kind of reiterated the same thing. We have as dice dealers, we kind of have a collective shared script that we use, right? Like in Pasadena, we cannot tend to pick that we kind of shared, and we've, in all honesty, nobody knows where this comes from, and we've all stolen and slightly changed, and sometimes there's new ones, but for the most part, we kind of use the same scripts. But it's the off the cuff, ad lib, funny stuff, like Mike was saying. That's where for me was like the pure entertainment of craps is. And I think for the customer's point of view that's what they want too. I mean, we had the business game in the city in Edmonton when we first opened it. It wasn't, well, for many reasons, multitudes of reasons. But I think one of the biggest ones is because it was very entertaining for the players. I mean, the dealers were good, but there was so many really funny personalities that it was, like they would bounce comments off each other, and it was very interactive, and it was a really it was a great experience. So, but I'm just like reiterating Mike's point. That's where the skill is. It's off the cuff, and how you can kind of like bounce off. Some dealer will say to you, and then you say it back, and the players are involved, and that's where the magic of craps is, and that's why people like it. I feel anyway.
100%. 100%. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I do agree with you guys, like the on the cuff stuff, and for me, I have a really cool friend, Emery, and like he's on the site too, but he used to work slots, but that guy, like, we were always like walking around, and this guy would just freestyle, and just like off the cuff, and he'd just be like, just following a beat, and then he'd just be rapping, and I'd just be like, cool. Then he'd be like, to you, and I'd be like, my brother, and then there's my mother, and I just couldn't like think of some stuff like so fast, right? So, like for you guys, like it's cool that you're able to kind of just grab stuff, like, but for me, like sometimes I could do that, but I couldn't do it every single time. So, I did write my stuff down, and the reason why is because like I'd hear everybody else's stuff, and it's like cool, I can steal that, but then I know, like, for us, the unique thing was we all started at the same time, so it's just like, okay, he said it first, she said it first, so it's like I don't want to steal it because I just heard it, right? So then I just grabbed my book and I started writing, and I wrote, and there was this really cool site at the time. It was called DiceDealer.com, and they had a whole crap load of like stick calls. So then my goal was just to keep talking and just, when this game came out, I just wanted to keep talking, and then I would find like stuff, and usually it was music lyrics, but then I would find things like on TV, anything that had a number in it, and I would try to like find a rhyme for it. But for me, I can't like freestyle like my friend Emery, so then I would like write it all down. So yeah, and some of them were like, I talked with Arden about this, and he just made fun of my stuff, but I just like saying things, and I like throwing people off too, right? So it's like 10 hard 10 came soft and fluffy like a newborn guppy. And then I would just listen to see if anyone actually was like paying attention or not, and they'd be like, "A guppy? What the hell are you talking about?" Right? And then you'd like you'd see somebody like new, and like if a newbie was dealing it, it's like, "Woo, smooth like sandpaper, my boy," and you'd like just throw things in like in the middle of like your call, and then you would just see if people were like paying attention. So yeah, for the hard way, the two twain. People are like, what? What's wrong with your voice? And it's like, oh my god, yeah. There's a lot of jokes, but my voice would crack, and like, because I was again like one of the youngest ones on the table, right? So then people would be like, oh god.
You use tutuin?
Tutu twain, the tutu twain. Yeah.
So you get a Star Wars reference. Nice, I like that.
This book has a life of its own. It's not just dice calls, but like this was like my first year at university, and I wrote like my experience. Well, I will share on one of these podcasts, but like how I felt like the first time I went on the ships, my first day as like a floor soup. I wanted to be a writer at some point, but yeah, my English wasn't that good at the time. I got a 6, out of like a 9-point scale, like actual English, it was a 6. I'd plagiarize, I get a 6. I would write something amazing, I would get a 6. So it didn't really matter. That was just a 6. So there was a thing called Hot or Not. Sorry, there's a website called Hot or Not. I already knew I was a 6. So.
But the only thing, half the stuff, I mean, honest to God, I mean, like, I dealt craps a long time, and it was just literally, some of the stuff would just rattle out of my head, and it was just like, okay, it would come in and be like, oh, I haven't said that in forever, and it would just come out, and, you'd say it. It wasn't necessarily like ad-lib, like, to Mike's point earlier, where you like, a situation like, oh my God, I was so funny, I'm just gonna, like you rip on a player, or you go, oh my God, talking about the Hawaiian roll, wiki, you know what I mean? You make fun of guys, and your girlfriend's not shy and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? But some of the times, yeah. Oh my God, I had so many like, literally now looking back, because I dealt it like, 1987 was the one I learned craps, right? And I went to all these different places and all these different, like, I'm looking back and I'm like, dear Lord, man, that was like wildly inappropriate. You can't say it now. And I kind of mentioned it on like calls change. I mean, some of the stuff I hated the whole about, Juicy Lucy and spitting in the field. I hated that one. I was like, and I never ever said it. Ever. I was like, that's just crass. I mean, I was just vulgar. I didn't like it. I didn't find it creative, and I was like, I hate it. But anyway, I think, where was I going to go? But I think, yeah, craps, there's a lot of like subtlety in craps, because the intention really with all these calls is you're trying to draw people in, right? So you're like, what did he say? Like, to this day, I say to this day, when I was dealing him, I never saw anybody, even when I worked with them, who would say 4 came easy or 4 came hard the way I said it. So it sounded really different. I remember people kept, like, management going, what did you say? And I was like, I said 4 came easy. I don't know what you heard, but that's what I said. I have an accent. So, do you know what I mean? The idea was to, some of the stuff we did was to bring players in, because they're like, oh, what was that? So.
Yeah. You should do a demo, John, because I think the only one I remember was 666, Son of the Beast. And that was like one of yours. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember John saying that. So
I completely forgot about that one too. I mean, it's like, oh, I haven't said that. Oh yeah, 666, Sign of the Beast. Yeah.
Can you give me like 5 numbers, point of 8, and then like 4, 5, 9, 10, 11. So just do the outside numbers and then just do them like consecutive. But I just want to hear the banter, because I think a lot of people miss that.
So okay, the points are 6 and you've rolled a 4.
Yeah.
Your game at Argyle was a ton of fun. I don't know what that is.
Oh, here. Sorry, before you go, John. Here, let's. I just want to say that. Hello, Stuart.
Hey,
welcome.
Stuart.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for doing a watch party today. I saw that on the stream. Really cool. To the 7 of you that are actively on, hello, welcome. Just say hello, say where you're from, say hi. I'd like to give some cards away. I wanted to set up a surprise video. It's like a table test thing, but having some issues trying to get it on. But next week we'll probably do it. When we get to about 20 people, I will bring out an Amazon gift card. Not this one because it's my son's, but probably just the transfer you some money. I don't know.
That's similar.
Sorry, a couple more, and then let's get back to John here. Sikbo, Paga, Player Banker. Yeah, see? I love all of those. Let's put all of those on one table. So, Stuart says, I agree. Keep the bowl upside down to prevent all that bother. Okay. And Morgan used to be the most entertaining on stick guy could ad lib. Yeah, I think I do remember Morgan, actually. And I like Morgan. Bob Glue was pretty active when he would jump on stick. I like Kevin at Baccarat. I liked Kong and Warren when they were at Argyle. So I mean, there was at the time, like, it was really cool. There was a lot of cool people that were like coming up with some really fun calls, and it was just the culture, right? Like any casino that you went to was so cool. It was so nice to see, right? So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's tons.
I think, to your point, the coolest thing when craps first came out, people were excited to deal it. Like, doesn't matter where casino it was, because they had K-Days, and it was like the first time Edmontonians were excited to see craps in Edmonton, like proper craps. So they wanted to play it. The dealers wanted to deal it. They wanted to get better. It was like a perfect storm. It was like to be that, for me anyway. I found it great because everybody was, trying to deal it to it, like, especially like the Palace, right? Everybody was trying to deal it really good, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna practice. I'm gonna do all this stuff. After a few years, people got jaded, like, and they kind of like the enthusiasm kind of waned off a little bit. But at the first time, like all you guys were on it, was like, oh my god, I'm going to do this, and not just Edmonton, like the Palace, the other casinos too were all trying too, right? To kind of like hone their skills and deal this game. And I mean, I'm sure they went to different casinos and go like, what is this guy staying on a stick? What is he doing? Or how does he do things? Because they wanted to get better and stuff like that. So it was a really cool experience for me to be in Edmonton at that time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too. It was cool to meet you. I wouldn't have gone on the ships. Oh, that was the other thing that I was gonna do. But next week,
for sure.
I will show you some. So okay, for my channel people, I got called out. It's like, I'm not gonna say who, but it's like, yo, did you even go on the ships? And I'm like, man, I did do a contract on the ships. I do have some evidence of it. So I will probably show you some videos next week, and yeah, you're gonna see it and you'll be like, okay, now I know why you didn't hook up with anybody on the ships. So we'll leave it at that. That was so annoying.
But speaking of ships in Edmonton, I think John was the biggest factor in the biggest exodus of casino dealers leaving the casinos in Edmonton for the ships in the early 2000s. I mean, everybody left. And I remember when we'll get back to the Vancouver dice test. But I think it was because of John and so many people from Edmonton going that the cruise industry started testing in Edmonton.
Mm-hmm. It's true. Yeah, I mean, there's the other casinos were sending out too, but I mean, for the Palace, for sure, like there was a huge ton of us that went, and then yeah, I mean, it was Sarnia first, and then it was the ships, and then it was crazy. You know what the funny thing was? Like, I was a floor soup when I left, and I think I was like 13th on the seniority list, and I went, and then when I came back, and it was like years after, I see where I would have been, and I would have been up to 11 on the seniority list. So had I stayed, I would have been up 2 spots from then when I became a floor soup again. So I was like, oh wow.
You know what? You'd be 10 now, so that's okay.
Those are, hey, it's a testament to the longevity of being a floor supervisor, right? So. I'll tell you, that was the hardest for me, like personally, it was one of the hardest jobs to do. Apart from like food and beverage supervisor, but yeah, that was another story altogether, right? So
Like just to head back to like when I first in the palace and the craps was there. Like I remember one time I got told on a ship by a manager. He said he told me he goes, you know, I think I've probably said this before. He told me he said, you know, a male dealer on my ship who doesn't deal craps is a passenger, and I was like, well, okay, that's brutal. But as soon as I got so many opportunities to travel as soon as I learned craps, and as soon as I dealt it up to a certain standard. The opportunities for me to work abroad and to work in these different situations just exploded. I was basically like, I phoned them up like, hey, I want a job. And I told Jay before on the previous meeting, in my entire kind of like craps table testing career, only once did I do a table test and not get the job, and that was in Edmonton. Yeah, that was Yellowhead Casino, the only time. And at that point, it was 1998, and I've been dealing like a long time. You know what I mean? Like, you know, so for some reason they like, no, we're not going to give John a job. So anyway, but when craft started and all you guys came on, I was like, man, this is a tremendous opportunity for you guys. If you have no responsibility, you should go and experience this thing. So go and travel. Go. So many people before you in Edmonton. I mean, like Bubba went before, and Sean Joyce, and there was a lot of like Edmonton dealers who'd gone. But as soon as craps came to Edmonton or to Canada, you became so much more employable, and so many people wanted to hire you guys, right? And I remember I wrote so many like reference letters, like tons of them, like, oh my God, you know, and I'd be like, okay, you know, if Mike was on a ship, he'd be a B dealer, he's awesome, he'd be a B rate, the craps dealer, and you know, I mean, and God, I can't remember how many did for the past, but I think it's a great opportunity. I mean, like when you're young, this casino industry gives you the opportunity to travel, and especially when you get craps, it just makes it easier for you to find jobs, and you know, and there's so many places that'll hire you, right?
yeah,
Oh, best.
no, absolutely.
Yeah, if there's any young people that are watching this right now, I doubt there are any. But go on ships, go on, try it.
Or just travel. It gives you such an opportunity to see something new and something different. And I mean, there's so many opportunities there. I mean, like not just ships. I mean, like you work in the Caribbean, work in whatever. But I mean, like you broaden your horizons and you see different things. All of us, we all worked on ships. We all saw different things. But like, oh my God! I mean, like it's give you a different perspective, and it was so much fun. Like forget about all the you know, the gambling and the parties and the drinking.
Yeah, 100%.
Remember it?
No, 100%. Besides, there's partying, gambling, drinking, whatever, and everything. But it's experiencing different sites, different cultures, different countries, different areas. You talk to different people. You learn a little bit of different customs and different languages all over the place, right? Like, I mean, I can ask for beer in probably 20 different languages now. That's about all I know from ships anyways now, but you just learn so much from so many people that you work with, and it's a great experience if you can go on there.
Do you know what I used to learn wherever I went in the local language was one more beer and take me to the ship. So I could say it, I need that. I need one more beer, and I need that taxi driver to take me back to the ship.
Perfect.
You know what, I do miss the ships. There's a reason why I didn't go back. I may divulge it one day, but I mean it was a few things, but like my contract is still right there. I have it, and it's just like a symbol as to like, you know, what could have been. That was for the Sovereign of the Seas, and you know, that was supposed to go to Port Canaveral, and I think it's Coco Cay Islands. So I know you did that, Mike. But for me, that's definitely like John. We talked about like regrets. I think that was a big regret. I really wanted to go and do that ship, that was the one that I asked for. Actually, it was like my number one, and I didn't get to do it because of something else that happened. However, like I wouldn't have gone to Grand Prairie, and I wouldn't have met some really cool people there. Like Sebus, especially, man, I love that guy. He was really cool, and they were like a really big family too. So, I mean, I did like like my heart sank when I didn't leave, but I was so happy to kind of meet a new group of people, and I'm still friends with like a few of them. So it's really cool. Yeah.
Can I just say one thing? Like right now, none of us are in the casino really full time, but I really, really enjoyed. Well, you do it like once a month just to go and like it's
Hang
like it's
out.
slowly weaned off. But you know what? We work with some of the greatest people I've ever met in my entire life in casinos, and I think it's so sad that all these casinos that are closing and some of the best people I've ever met are facing challenges because they can't work financially. And, hopefully there's some support out there. Us as a community, I mean, I'm not in it anymore, but us as a community, actually, as people in the industry can help support some of these people because I think these are some of the most amazing people I've ever met. And I really feel bad that some of them are really facing some challenges right now.
Hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, John. On that note, because we created like, and the three of us and all, like I know my name is there and everything, and I do the posts and stuff like that, but I think you both like had a really huge part of this. The three of us doing this together, and some other people as well. But I think part of what I want out of the Casino Industry Canada group is just to get people to network. And I know like a lot of people need like help, like they're not working right now, and it sucks, right? So I'm waiting for people to come back, and it's going to be cool. Like I can't wait to go back, to work. Even though I'm like the part-time one, but what I wanted to do was like, show Kevin at Yellowhead. I showed you these moves, and John, you're the one that basically taught me those. I'm just passing them over. I'm like the holder of moves, and I pass them over to the new generation. So like with Kevin, it's just like he's like, why don't you just do a video? I'm like, well, that's a good idea. And I sat on it for like a year, and then I finally did it. And I wanted to do this casino industry group because I wanted people to kind of come together, and it wasn't just about the casino. That's our common connection, but I wanted you to like reconnect with people from before. And maybe some people offer services. It's like, what, someone's selling a car, someone's selling a house, someone's doing things like that. Like that's kind of what I want us to get to. You know People do like Zumba classes. I know people do art classes. So like, Cynthia, I just gave you that, you know the shout out there. I want you to do a class online. It's something like to kind of keep us together, and just keep us motivated and help each other out. So I'm hoping to get there, and with some future projects and everything else. I appreciate the help that you guys have been doing, and everybody else on the channel too. So I think that we can kind of build from this and get something good out of it. I love the stories, don't get me wrong, but I definitely want to like help people out too. And I'd like us to get like a charity, like, and help them out as well. But we'll get there. I think we will.
So, Jay, Jessica Wells wants to know why that particular ship that you wanted to go on it.
It was always my number one ship. John, you told me about the ships. You gave me some advice. Sean, Sean as well. He was telling me about his experiences, and I was like, oh my god, like I need to go. Um, Before my interview, I saw like itineraries and whatnot, and then I saw the ship, and I love the ship. Like I fell in love with it. I would do like multiple contracts if I could. It was the 3 and 4 night thing. I've always had a dream, like when I was in university, if I was in sciences, well, I took sciences. I wanted to like move to Florida, and that was something. I'll show you. Like in junior high, I have this little like nerdy picture of me saying I want to move to Florida. That's where I definitely wanted to move. I always wanted to go there, and the ships brought me there, but I just wanted to end up there at some point, and it was that ship for some reason that just kind of drew me in, and to get it as my second ship, I was like super excited. But some stuff kind of happened, and one of the things was that in Grand Prairie, craps was opening up, and they didn't have a box person. And I thought they did. They didn't have a box person, so it was questionable as to whether they were going to open or not. So I had a really tough choice amongst like some other serious issues that I was dealing with. But yeah, I didn't end up going, and it's not it's not a bad thing. I wish I did, but yeah, now that ship's not there anymore, so it kind of sucks. And to see it like just be decommissioned, it's kind of like a heartbreaker too. But there's always a place there for me. That one and the Rhapsody was cool, like just to have a table test on it. But I wanted to keep going, and I wanted to do I think I wanted to do three contracts for sure. But if there's any opportunity to be on the Sovereign, I would just that would be the one that I'd want to do all the time. What was your favorite ship?
Who?
Mike?
Me?
Mike and then John.
Me. You know what? I'll go with my first ship. It was the Adventure. That was the first experience to be on ships. It was out of San Juan, and we did 7 days Eastern Western Caribbean run, and we went to Aruba, St. Martin, Miami. Grand Cayman. No, not Grand Cayman. God, I can't remember. St. Thomas. Just all these islands, right? Like, I mean, and Curacao. And you get to see so much and experience so many different things. And it was so good. The crew was so good there. That was my favorite ship for the crew, because it was just one big family, and it was so cool to be on. And there were a lot of Canadians on that ship, actually. But my second favorite ship would have been the Jewel, and that was the European cruise where we got to see Europe. We started off in the Mediterranean, worked all the way up to Russia and all the Scandinavian countries. So, but my favorite ship for the atmosphere, for the people, was the Adventure.
Mm-hmm. How about you, John?
Mikey, well, I have lots of favorites. Mikey, did you do overnight in St. Petersburg?
I did overnight in St. Petersburg. Yes, I did.
Oh my God, I can't tell now because it's at the end, but man, I have a crazy story about an overnight in St. Petersburg. Maybe we'll talk about another.
Oh, we got to talk about that. Okay, we'll compare the overnight stories.
Like Rhonda and I'll tell you what, honest to God, it was like I've done some crazy stuff. Some of it I can't talk on here. This I will talk, and it was like, Rhonda and I was like, oh my God, that was the most crazy experience of my life. It's a long story, but I'll tell you. I had, excuse me. Do you know what the beauty of like working in the casino, and this is like from my experience anyway, the vast majority of casino people are all the same. They usually, excuse me, for the most part, are some of the best people you ever meet. Wherever you go, Grand Prairie, South Africa, Britain, whatever it is, they're some of the best people you ever meet. And they're just all typically kind of the same, right? We're all built of the same kind of cloth, right? And it's all cut from the same cloth. So, I mean, if I could talk about, like, say, Royal Caribbean, I did like 6 contracts with them. The first ship I worked on was the Legend of the Seas. And in all the cruise ships I worked on, that was the best one because it was a phenomenal experience. But then I worked on a daily ship, a daily gambler ship out of San Diego. That was so much fun. And then I worked on this wonky, weird, ultimately illegal casino gambling ship in Israel, which was a lot of fun too. We live online. I live in Israel in a place called Alat. But they were all great experiences, right? I mean, I had so much fun. I mean, I think all of us know that casinos are really a fun experience when you're younger and you can do this stuff. As you get older, you're like, I don't want to do this anymore. You know, you kind of like, you think I came to Canada and I worked with you guys originally in 2000. I was 32, so I was like, do I really want to go and I was literally in, someone said, the back nine of my casino career. I mean, I didn't want to do all the crazy stuff. I was like, And I'm hanging out, going out with like the 20-year-olds. I'm like, I want to do all. I was like, I just want to go home and have a nap. Do you know what I mean? So I've done all my crazy stuff, like really crazy stuff, and but it's some of the stuff we need to do, and I think this group should be, and I'm sure we are. We're saying like this tremendous opportunity to travel, which is we don't have that in so many careers, right? And the world is so cool when you see it, and you meet these people. You think we're different, but we have so much similarities. And you look at it. I mean, like there's you and like Jay and myself. I mean, like you look at it. I mean, like we have so many varied experiences, but we're also similar. And I remember the first time I left. Right, I was working in Cardiff for 3 years, and I was kind of nervous about leaving. I was like, well, I've worked here, and I was only 21, and I was kind of nervous. I'm like, and eventually, me and two friends, we left and we got a job in Israel, right? So we left and we worked in Israel, and we had so much fun, and we met completely new people, and it was a great experience. Eventually got shut down, and there's some weird funny stories about that too. But anyway, it was so much fun. And then I came back and I went to work in the same casino again, and then I was like, why did I wait so long to leave? I was scared, and the fear of like, oh my God, what. And then I was like, after that, I was like, well, I'm just gonna go and travel, and because ultimately people are cool when and forget about where the differences. We have so much similarities, and I think hopefully, like even the casino, the group we're in, that we can kind of like showcase, like, man, you guys need to travel. Doesn't matter if it's abroad. Maybe go to a different casino, maybe different province, maybe whatever. See Canada. Canada's amazing. I mean, sorry to rant on a bit. Sorry.
No, that's I absolutely agree. Mike, do you care to kind of chime in on that?
No, yeah, for sure. I mean, to John's point, I was definitely nervous the first time, ships called and everything, and it's something I'm doing this by myself. I don't know anybody. I haven't been. I think I've been to California or something like that once when I was a kid, but I haven't been anywhere on a plane by myself. I didn't go anywhere. I didn't know anything, and then within about 2 weeks of joining the ship, it was why did I wait so long? Other than the fact I had to be 21, but I mean, really, why don't you travel? Travel. You learn a lot. You learn a lot about other people, other cultures, other things. You learn a lot about yourself too. So, I mean, travel. If you got the chance to do it, travel.
Yeah.
Can I just have one quick story?
Yeah.
That's on to Mike's point, right? Can I tell you this crazy story? It actually, okay. So when I first joined Royal Caribbean, me and my friend from Bristol, this was 1996. So 1996, we both got the job for Royal Caribbean, and we flew out and we joined the ship in Vancouver. And neither of us had been in Vancouver, like Canada, before. I was like, I'd never done Alaskan runs. I'd always been in the Caribbean before that. So we joined the ship. And we flew in, and they said, okay, you're going to stay in this hotel, which was like in the middle of nowhere. So we joined the ship, and we get off the plane, and we go to this hotel. And then this hotel, it was in the middle of nowhere anyway, and it has kind of like a bar next to it, right? But it's connected to the hotel, but there was a bar. So me and my friend both like to play pool, so we go to this bar, and we're like, okay, we'll have a few drinks and play pool because we have to join the ship in the morning, right? So we're there, and then. So we put our name up on playing pool, and we're just having a few drinks. And then these two Canadian guys come up to us, and they're like, "Oh, well, where are you from?" Because you can hear we talk different. And we're like, "Oh, we're from Bristol. Bristol. I'm from Wales." Da 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 da. And they're like, "Okay, well." So we have a few drinks, and then it was so weird. One guy's getting really aggressive, and one guy's like really cool. It was like good cop, bad cop. I'm like, me and my friend's bigger than me, and I was like, "What's going on? We're gonna have a fight. This is so strange." So they go, They turn around, they go. You're going to drink shots with us, and we're going to race you. And me and my friend, we're casino people, so we're like, all right, let's do shots. This is fun. So we walk over to the bar, and the guy's like, I want 20 shots of tequila. So we're like, yeah, man, let's go with it. So we go, and he puts 4 rows of 5 shots. And so me and my friend were like, okay. And he was like a race. So we're like, okay. So me and my friend were like, okay. And literally the other guy went, oh. Time out. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this anymore. So he had won, The other guy had like 1, and me and my friend had already finished the 5. We're like, what? What's going on? So we're like, this is so strange. So we're like, okay, whatever. So then we ended up drinking the other one. So we're like, all right, let's just go play pool because we can't go crazy. We have to go on the ship in the morning. So we go and we're like, I remember I have this red denim jacket, which has a long story. But anyway, this red Levi denim jacket that I wore. And I remember, for some reason, it kept getting thrown on the floor off the back of a chair, right? And I was like, why is it? This is weird. So anyway, I kept putting it up and it kept getting thrown on the floor. Eventually, the 2 brothers turn around and the nice brother turns around and goes, stop throwing this jacket on the floor. And the other one goes, make me. And everyone's like, what? So they fight. They start like, and it's me and my friends were like, what is going on? These people are crazy. So they ended up getting dragged up to the bar. And me and my friend were like, is this what Canadians are like? Are they all like that? It was like good guys. It was the strangest experience of my life. And then, like the next day, so the bar closed. Then we ended up going to this like Denny's. We walked for miles. And we ended up going to this Denny's, and then we were like, it must have been like in the area where there was all like Asians, or whatever. So we walk in, and me and my friend were like the only like that white people in it. It was a very strange experience for our first experience in Canada. And then like the next day, we kind of like joined the ship in the port, and they were like, "How was your night?" It was like, it was so weird. It was the weirdest night. I can't tell you how strange it was, but yeah.
See, those are the things. John's stories are so interesting. Not only the story interesting, the other story the story within the story. Everybody wants to find out right now. The red jacket. What the hell? What the hell is the story behind the red jacket? We might save that for later.
Oh, that's another long story. So, oh my God. Okay. All right. This red's my favorite color, right? And now this jacket, I swear to. Okay. Oh, no, I'll do it. I'll show you that. We'll do it another time. I'll do it another time. I'll tell you, like, oh my God, some of the adventures of this red jacket, I still have it. And my kids are like, why'd you still keep that? I'm like, oh my God, that jacket has been through so many experiences. Okay, I'll give you a hint. It involves a double-decker bus and falling off the back of it.
Oh my God, are we? How are you guys for time? Because it's like an hour and 32 minutes already. This is an hour program, but we went 2 hours last time.
Well, we might have to wrap it up a little bit.
Yeah, one of you want to.
30 comes early.
Yeah, I have to.
Okay. Okay. Just a couple more, and okay. Jess. Oh. Hey, this is Jess. Hello, Jess. Jess from KC. How are you doing?
Hi, Jess.
Do you guys know the current status of cruise ships casinos? Are they running like normal yet? Well, I'll trade answers because I have some questions about where you're working too, because I wanted to know about bonus crops and whatnot. So we will definitely talk about that. All I know is that the Wonder of the Seas, which is the 5th Oasis class ship, was supposed to be coming out in 2021, but I think they actually brought it up. I think it's supposed to come like next week or something like that. They're actually sending that ship out. So I think they're starting to do just rescheduling the cruise ship dates. So I think that's coming up right now. But I know you guys know because you're on the RCCL site, but there's just a lot of issues with people trying to get home throughout like COVID, and I think a lot of them finally did end up going home. But now like the people I think they're starting to kind of just regroup, and I think they're going to start doing some limited cruises again. So I don't know what you guys have heard, but
I saw it like it was an interesting and a weird kind of like article the other day, because I'm from Britain, so I try to keep up what's happening back home. And there was a lot of cruise ships, kind of like big cruise ships, and they kind of like docked it like around Britain, Britain's an island, whatever, it looks like that, more like that, whatever. Anyway, but it kind of docked right in the middle of nowhere, and just waiting, for things to happen. And there was this guy who used to work for like Princess Cruises, and for like 20 odd years, and he was obviously very smart. He then started doing like tours where these little like ferries, whatever, would go out and they would circle around all these ships that are just kind of parked, waiting to happen and waiting to do things around Britain. And because of his experience, like 20 odd years working around ships, he would be able to tell them like, okay, this is a ship. And he kind of gave him like a tour around all these kind of like ships just waiting to go somewhere. So I think it's going to take a long time from what I've seen for these ships to kind of like get back into operation. But here's another thing that like kind of annoys me, and maybe people are going to get mad about this, but whatever. The cruise ship industry brought billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars to all these places around the world, and then when things turned bad, they turned against all these cruise ships, and they turned around all these like these dealers who would, you know, Mike, Jay, and I, we all would be on ports. We'd spend our money in local ports, and all these casino people would spend all their money, and we do it. And then as soon as things bad happened, it's like they turned it back and they just said, "Nope, sort yourself out, do it yourself." And I heard stories about friends of mine who still work on cruise ships who were taking like 3 months to get home, and they kind of like would ferry people from different ships onto one ship and drive them to they ship them over to like the Asia because they couldn't get on planes. I think that's a terrible disservice to those cruise ship people, because they brought like prosperity to some of these places, right? I mean, really, some of the Caribbean islands without these cruise ships, they won't have the prosperity they have today, right? I mean, sorry to go on my pedestal, but I just think those casino people industry would treat it terrible. Oh, sorry, the cruise ship people.
No, 100%. Yeah, and I agree with you too. And I know, I think fear and paranoia took over. Definitely, 100%. I get it. It's not something to take lightly or anything. You want to be cautious. You want to be careful. And you want to do what's best for your port, your country, whatever your city. But yeah, there was people who were good friends that were left for 3-4 months on a ship, and don't get me wrong, a ship's a great place to be, but if you're stuck in your cabin the whole time, by cabin fever, to say the least, if you get a little bit of Jack Nicholson in The Shining kind of thing going there, right? I mean, you don't turn your back on those people. And as far as sailing goes, I've heard end of October for the States, but that's still up in the air. I think some European countries are starting to go limited cruises, but we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely all up in the air, and I think it has a lot to do with just how cases are and how everyone's kind of coping with this pandemic. So, yeah, I'm surprised that they would push up an actual release of like an Oasis style ship, and I don't know like what the plan is there and where they want to port it, but yeah, I mean, just I just Google it, Jess, if ever you have time. It's just The Wonder of the Seas. I know that's the new one that's coming out, so. I don't know who this is, but thanks for watching. We're about to jump off here in a little bit, but before we go, I just wanted to show a couple of photos. There's one.
Oh, is that Tony?
Tony was the one that sent me this. Look at my Palace Casino t-shirt. Oh my god. How amazing is that? I was wearing that while I was on the ships, and I had hair. Amazing. But,
gotta be said though, Tony looked like super cool in that picture.
Did he? Yeah. Tony does, hey?
Yeah,
seriously.
I was like a movie star whenever I see this guy. We go to like Vancouver and he'd be all cool and stuff. He'd know where to go. I think he had a car in Vancouver too while he was working on the ships, so it was like, let's go to the mall.
I got a picture of my niece and you. It's 29 in Aruba, and we're well, he's eating a steak dinner. I'm waiting for mine, and I'll show you this. And well, Tony's still skinny, but I was skinny too back then.
Were you skinny, Mike? I can't remember.
Shut up.
Maybe I have to show a couple photos here.
Oh my god.
I don't know if you want to explain that one, but with this. Look at that. I guess you were skinny.
Yeah, I was skinny. I was skinny.
There's a story behind this, Mike, and I seriously can't remember why you're at my house wearing that. But I think
that's the way I could get in. You made me wear it.
I did not make you wear
Yeah,
this
no, you made
shirt.
me wear it, and you wanted to take pictures. So I said,
I
okay,
did
fine.
not.
I think that was Rachel's birthday.
Probably, yeah. I'm sorry, Mike, that the whole world gets to see that. So,
Oh,
and
there's
it's
worse out there. There's worse out
yeah.
there.
So there sure is, Mike. And stay tuned till next week when we start talking about our first time in Vegas stories. Um, there's a whole compound of stories there that is just that's a good live stream on its own. So, yeah, John.
Quick question. So, Jessica, is that the same Jess that actually put up the question about the prop bets?
Yes.
I really like. Hopefully, Mike's wonderful and I love him. Honestly, he's so hilarious. But I really wanted to talk to you about that new prop bet because I haven't seen it. Like the tall and small and all. Because I'm a loud guy and I was like, oh man, that would be so cool to hear more about that. And if at some point we can chat with you about that, that would be so much fun.
Yeah, Jess,
Yeah.
it'd be great to have you on the channel. Only if you're comfortable, but like
If not,
we're
it's
yeah.
okay. It's all good.
Who wants to talk with three old balding men about
Hey,
craps?
Mike has hair. He can't be called Mike Baldy because he's his hair. He has more hair than the last 4 people that's been on this call.
That's true. Yeah, Mike is winning by far.
Oh,
Yeah, no, absolutely, Jess. I think it'd be cool to have you on. It's what we want to do is just talk about. Oh, sweet. What we want to do is just talk about craps and everything. We kind of just want to know about you, like where you, because you have a ton of experience too. So just where you're dealing and how it is there, what you like about it, what you'd want to see. I don't know if you're like back to work or whatnot, but it'd be cool to know. But yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're pretty harmless for the most part. So
You see me in a bikini already, so I mean,
yeah,
really,
yeah.
and that's not even embarrassing, really. Seriously,
Let's just leave that out there. That's not even your best. That's
yeah.
not your best work, my friend.
This is just scratching the surface. So
Oh my god, I can't take this off, Mike. Oh, it's stuck. I'm sorry. I don't know how to put this down. I guess on that note. John, sorry, one more thing. I have to close the loop on this because I asked you to do numbers and the channel really needs to hear this banter. I need to hear some more stick. It'll help me finish my night and I can go to bed. So
okay,
4, 5. Okay, point of 6. This is a sequence of numbers: 4, 5, 9, 10. Yo, winner. How about that?
What do you? I mean, like, I have to be set up because is it okay? Is it a point established and you've rolled a 4 and it's a 6?
So you're relieving me. The point is 6, and then this is the 5 rolls that this player does. What are you gonna say? What are your stick calls? Just so that people can kind of hear.
Okay, all right. So the point is 6, right? Okay, so
do you want me to roll dice?
No. I don't care about that. I'm just trying to remember. You realize it's 15 years since I've held a stick and I've been on. I'll try, but okay. So the points at 6. The guys rolled a 4. Okay. 4, feels 4, no, Eskimo. Oh, shouldn't say that. 4, feels 4, feels 4. Little Willie from Piccadilly. Up 2 out of deuce, out of pair, get you there. Feel 4. In behind comes 2. No, sorry. Okay, so he's going to roll a 5. For 5, feel 4. Oh my God. 5, no feel 5. People are more 1 and a 4. People are draw straight at us. Just so you know, I may have had a beer. No field, in behind comes 2. So, it's kind of thing like that. What else?
All right, here, fine. Let me help you. Okay. What's the point? What the point is 5? 5?
6.
Okay.
Oh, point is 6?
Okay, what do you? Yeah, roll something. 8, 8, easy way. The field don't pay. The red get fed. Down beyond, in behind comes 2. Easy way. Deal with ease because she's a tease. If it ain't easy, bet the hard way. 12 cap, come killer, come away, double bubble, comes in trouble. Bah, the dunce. 2 Two crap, aces, asses, bullets, nipples, mother-in-laws. Come killer, come away. Double comes in trouble. In behind. 5, no field, 5. Nick felt the pumps. Field don't pay, comes to in behind. Yo, 11, yo, Levine, field and cam, both get some.
Oh my god. I can't do this fast enough. Oh, sorry, wrong one.
5 casino miles. Field 4, ace and trade, the field to pay. In behind comes 2, down behind, in behind. King with these, machine to teams, easy way, field to pay. Up and at it, up 2, out of deuce, out of pay, get you there. See it, shake it, numbers 7 out, 7 away. Come killer, come away. Oh, so.
All right.
Yep. I know. That was a bit of a surprise. I didn't expect that. Just to say, I had a couple of beers, so.
That's okay. I'm gonna get you like a foam finger so that you can like pretend that you're here in K Days, and then and then next week I'm gonna get like a thing and just we're gonna spin a wheel.
It was weird. Like last time, I remember the call. Like it's weird. Like calls that like all of us, right? You remember these calls, and I remembered one the other day, and because Heather was like, "Oh, can you remember the call?" And it was like one I hadn't thought of in 15 years. And I was like, after the call, like the talk, I was like, oh my God, 10, easy way. Tennessee toddy, all face, no body. Do you know what I mean? It was like, oh my God, I hadn't thought of that sentence in like 15 years. It was just, yeah. So there's some of the stuff just like, I've had like 2 beers. So like, when you throw it on me, I'm kind of like surprised. So.
Oh, sorry. Well, hey, put you on the spot.
All good, man. It's you.
Yeah. Hey, for the people that are still watching on the channel, I did deal with John when he was hungover, and it was hilarious because I was following you, but you're just like, oh man, I'm so hungover, and I was just laughing because like you even said yourself, as like the shift wore on, you were getting better and better and better on craps.
Oh, I remember that day. I remember coming in. I can't remember what I went. Can I tell you stuff? Hopefully nobody's watching. Because this is embarrassing. Because I think this is the same day. I went out one time, and I used to live in this kind of like apartment downtown, and it was sketchy anyway. And we lived in the top apartment, my wife and I, and I got in, and I, like where you've gone out, and I probably had a few hours sleep, and so I came in, I came out, I was like, I gotta go to work, and I came out, I got in the elevator with the top floor, and I went in, and I was like, oh my God, I feel so bad, and then I kind of let one rip, and it was like, oh my God, it was like Satan's breath. It was like the worst smell on the planet. I was like, whoa, and I'm in the lift, I was like, dear God, that was terrible. And then it went down one floor, and then the doors opened, and this really pretty girl walked in and went, I swear to God, it was like that. And it couldn't have been anybody else but me, because it only went down one floor, and literally she was like that. And then she walked to the lift, the elevator, and then she kind of like stood like really on the other side of me, and I was literally there like that, kind of my eyes like, I feel like death, and now that just made this even worse. So then it was the longest like 2 floors in my life. So we came down the floor, and I was just like, the doors opened, and we couldn't get out of there faster. So we get out of there faster, and then we went to work. And I think that was the day that I dealt when I was like, oh my God, because I think what happened is I was sitting boxed, and the other end had to open. So I was like, oh, I have to deal. I'm sitting boxed, and I can't remember.
You were dealing.
I was dealing.
You were dealing. Yeah, we were both dealing. I just remember because you had your bands, so I knew you were dealing.
Weirdly enough, I only have one of them. I don't know where the other one went.
Oh, that's
Those bands, I couldn't have my shirt by my hand, my wrist. I don't know why. They bugged the shit on me, so I had to wear those things. So they pushed my sleeves up. Yeah, I remember that day. Oh my God, it was horrible, and I gradually became alive, I guess. During the game, I was like, oh my God, this is a terrible thing. And I gradually kind of like reanimated during the day, and I could deal later today. But hey, Mikey, Mike, I got to ask you a question. I know it's late, and we've been on this for like a long time. Okay, dealing craps, which side could you deal better on? The left or the right? Or did it matter?
Honestly, being right-handed, I still think the left-hand side. left hand side, I felt better. I felt better with doing the chips. I felt better with passing off and everything, even though I'm right-handed. The left side.
Completely agree. I'm the same with you, Mike. Whenever I went on table tests, I always kind of like, they're like, okay, go and stand on the table. And I would always go, okay. And I would stand on the left side. I always felt better dealing, because I threw chips and stuff on the left-hand side. I think I was okay on the right, but I felt better on the left.
Yeah, me too. I felt okay on the right too, but the left felt home.
Mm-hmm. I don't even know. I have to think about it because there's some, like, I know you guys have a preference, but there's some moves that I can do better on the left side, and then there's some moves that I can really do on the right, and it depends if there's comebacks too, right? For some reason, it's just like, like the down with odds. There's some moves there, and there's some technique that for me, it's better to be on the right, and especially if you're doing like throw presses and stuff. So, yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. That's a technique question. I'll have to deal and like try to think about it one day. Like if ever I go back, if ever that game's actually come back. So just a couple of outlying ones. I feel I miss huge opportunities but not doing ships. Yeah, I mean it's good and it's bad. It's got a lot of good and bad to it. I definitely don't regret it. I feel like I've gone backwards in my life because I thought I was going to be like 80 when I was going to go to Hawaii, and I got to go to Hawaii, right? So the places that you go and the things you see, I understand you can't right now, but just go as a passenger. I think it's still a lot of fun, and just to talk with people that are dealers there too. I think you'd enjoy that too. So, you guys agree?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, go, John.
I just think the casino industry gives you opportunities to travel, whether or not it's like in your same province or interprovincial or different countries. There's a tremendous opportunity for you to travel, and I think I'd recommend anybody who gets into this industry and that they're young enough and have no commitments. Well, I say no commitments, but to try this opportunity to travel, whether or not it's in Alberta or across Canada or whatever. Just go for it. I mean, you'll look back and you'd be like, oh my God, I had so much fun. I met so many cool people and I had so many like amazing opportunities to see different things. I think it's like, I still to this day recommend people to go, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Oh, wow, look who it was. It was perfect timing. Hi, Joe. I can only imagine what our tricks and style would look like for retired casino employees. Boxman's eyes would hurt. As the great Huey would say, I need band-aids for my eyes because they're bleeding. So I think that I may just do a video for the channel. Not the group, but my actual YouTube channel about my experience on the ships. I never really talked about it too much with anybody. Like Mike, we always joke about Vancouver and the trip and everything getting there, but me, Joe, I love you, man. Like for me, I got super lucky because I was on a contract with Joe and we were on at the exact same time. He's like a big brother to me. I hated it at the start. I was just so homesick and I didn't want to be on there. I got seasick like the first few days. I was getting the bends. We were just doing the Alaska run, but it just got so much better and better and better. And I think like Joe was one of the people for sure, like one of the reasons why, I decided to continue and move on. But man, my tears were welling up. I was talking with my dad, and rest in peace, Dad. But like just to talk with him like a couple weeks in, and I was just like, oh my God, am I doing the right thing? But for me, like what was really cool about that first contract for Joe and my contract was that we got to see like 52 ports, and it went from like Alaska to Hawaii to San Diego. We did the Panama Canal run, we did a Caribbean run in there, and we did South America. It was amazing, just like incredible to go to all of those in 6 months. I heard stories about people just doing like Alaska for 6 months. I'm like, oh, is that something that you really want to do? So it was just we were so lucky, and I was especially lucky just to have Joe, and then we became like roommates after like half of the contract, and then I got to like be with him for the rest of the time. So for me, again, I was the youngest. I was the youngest one. Everyone was in their 30s and like 40s, like the dealing staff there, and other than like some dancers, like I was like super young. Joe was like a year older than me, right? So it was crazy for us. So, but yeah, man, my boy.
Can I just like, it's weird. I remembered, like, like you remember odd stuff, and it's like makes no sense. Why do you remember this? Like, everybody who's worked with Joe loves Joe because Joe's awesome. I remember, for some unknown reason, and it was on craps, Joe could drop cut 6. Like, traditionally we all like 5 chips. And I was like, and I remember whatever it was, and he was doing stuff, and he was like, poof, and he was drop cutting 6. And I was like, that's weird and unusual. And like, I remember saying to him, like, why did you learn that? He goes, 3-6 poker. He just decided, I'm going to learn how to drop cut 6. And he was great at it. And I was like, man, this guy's awesome. Because he adapted. And that's, to be honest, that's one of the things that I loved about craps is it was only one of the few places you could be creative, right? And, to a certain extent, and you could bring your own personality to the game, to the stick, or to your dealing. And like when Joe was like, and he dropped one and drop cut 6, it was like, well, that's the weirdest shit ever. You know what I mean? Like, nobody drop cut 6, but Joe did it. And it literally was probably the first time in all the years that I saw someone who was able to drop cut 6 because he could. It was so cool.
It's funny. I respect that, John, that you actually noticed that. What I noticed with Joe is when we started was he was the only one that would, like, he'd bring out 7, same bet, and he would slide the 5 under the ones, and he was the first person I ever saw do that. And he would bring his bets, and he'd be the one sliding the 5s under, which was so cool. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I like watching not just Joe, but like everybody, right? It was just really cool to see that. Joe, this is for you here, buddy. Look at that. We were in this was Ecuador. Oh my God, Ecuador. We had a pretty cool soccer game there, and the whole group kind of played. And I thrashed like my shin, like I scratched it up because there's like a broken bottle, and I was the goalie. I did a dive, and that's the only thing I remember from the game. I don't even remember if we won or lost that, but man, Ecuador is crazy because like there's no taxis in port, so then you would have to like hitchhike. So I have photos like hitchhiking to the mall. Like we went in the back of like a truck, man. Those guys could have like kidnapped us or something. I don't know, but it was crazy. All right, guys, thank you so much. We have we'll say 3 minutes. Let's make it an even 2 hours here. Thanks, Joe. We always talk about ships. I really, we'll save the questions for like next week. But, Mike, what is one thing that you would want someone to know about just being on the ships that they might not know?
You know what? Be prepared to learn everything you can from the people around you. Older, younger, different background, different countries and everything. Just learn what you can. Soak in the knowledge, right? I mean, besides the partying and everything, and there is that, right? There's the party, there's the drinking. There's so much fun, but learn, sightsee, take in the historical tours if you can. Look at monuments and landmarks and everything. Just do what you can.
Mm-hmm. John, anything to add?
Well, 2 things add into Mike's point, but like, when you go on ships, you'll go to places that you will probably never ever go to ever again, because one, like, either good or bad, right? But explore it and see it, and it's just an amazing experience. And 2, once you go on ships, it's not for everybody. Just so you know, you go on there, and some people love it, and they go, "Oh my God, this is life changing." And some people go on and go, "I can't do this for whatever reason. They can't do it." But when you stay there, you kind of like become accustomed and like, "Oh my God, more tolerant of other things, because you share the room with somebody complete strangers, right? So you become very tolerant of different things. So it's a great thing to do.
Awesome. Okay, guys. Thanks everyone. I think there's people joining now. I'm sorry.
I gotta go.
Yeah, we're wrapping up. We're on our second hour here. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. we have our live stream, and it streams to the Casino Dealer J YouTube channel as well as our Casino Industry Canada group. So whenever you have time on a Wednesday evening, come say hi for the live stream. We're gonna cycle through guests, and two of us will definitely like co-host and kind of mix it up. So to everyone that watched the show, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your support, and I hope to see you guys next weekend soon. All right, guys, take care.
All right, take care. See you.